Hey Holy Girls, welcome back to the Holy Girl Hotline. I got a new video for you guys today. It's really good to be back. Today we're going to be talking about something that is a big kind of message that I teach, I guess, on this channel. And it's that the way that the world tells us to be women and to be feminine and to be just womanhood in general is so different than what God calls us to be as women and how He tells us to be valuable women. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, in the sense of the most infamous chapter of the Bible for us as women, and that's Proverbs 31. It's going to be fun. We're going to go through it together. We're going to read it, look into it. We're going to look at some of the things that the world tells us versus what we're reading in scripture here and how we can practically apply those things, because y'all know I'm all for the practicality. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the passage. I'm going to be showing you my screen on my iPad so we can read it and go through together Bible study style. So if you have a Bible that you want to go grab, feel free to do that, work through it together, or you can just watch, eat a snack, whatever works for you, works for me. So it's dense. We're going to focus today on verses. I almost said chapters. Today we're going to focus on verses 10 through 20 just to keep it tight and short and sweet-ish. You guys know I be making long videos and I don't even be meaning to. But we'll make a part 2 for the next part. So just a little context for Proverbs 31, and you can kind of see in the first 10 verses, which we're not going to read right now, but definitely read it, pause this video, read it by yourself. But this, we'll just talk a little bit first about the author. These are the words of King Lemuel, an oracle that his mother taught him. So this is coming from a king, actually a king's mother, who is also a woman. And you're going to see throughout the passage, but she's talking to her son about what he should look for in a wife and a woman. And so here we have something that his mother, who is embodying these traits, is giving him this wisdom of something that he should be valuing in women. And so kind of take that as context as you go throughout. This is a mother speaking to her son. There's really good principles that we can pull out as women who want to be valuable women in the Lord's eyes. We're going to start verse 10. An excellent wife who can find? She is far more precious than jewels. Let's just stop right there for a second. That is so beautiful. And you got to remember the context, right? We have a mother speaking to her son who is a king. And the king, he's royalty. I'm sure he has great access to a lot of riches, a lot of treasures, a lot of jewels, right, as we see here. And she's sitting here telling her son that, yeah, you may have all this wealth, you may have all these jewels and all this treasures and everything that you have as a king, but what is even more valuable than that is an excellent wife, right? And so that's far more precious. Another thing is the word excellent. It's one thing to have a wife. A lot of people are married, but at least in the US, right now, the divorce rate, I want to say, is close to 50%, which is staggering. And so that kind of signals to us that it's not really, hard to find a wife. It's not what it's saying here. It's not hard to find a wife, but an excellent wife, that's hard to find, right? And that seems to be more rare in their culture, and also in our culture, we can just see statistically. So this is really about how do we set ourselves apart as wives. And this doesn't need to be in a marriage context. I mean, absolutely, this is talking about a marriage context, and that's good. But it can also be something you can apply as a girlfriend or as a single woman. These are principles for making yourself a valuable woman of God in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a marriage context, although it's something you should apply to your marriage, to your relationships, to your friendships, to yourself. So definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, this is teaching us how to be a valuable woman in the eyes of the Lord that is more treasured even than his riches, right? Verse 11, the heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. Heart of her husband trusts in her. What does that mean? What does it mean for his heart to trust in her? Well, if we think about this also in context, we have a king, right? We have a king. He has probably so many women that, would want him. Maybe not for the best of intentions all the time, maybe for the status, for the wealth, for the notoriety that comes with being, with the king. And so here he has his mother telling him that this excellent wife, this excellent woman that you find, you can trust that she's there for the right reasons, and it sets her apart from these other women who are not having the best of intentions with him. And so I think that's really important. That's something that can set us apart, is us being a place of safety and trust, and we're coming with the best of intentions for a relationship, whether that's friendship-wise or marriage or dating, whatever it may be, but we're coming at it to be a place where the other person can rest and trust that we have their best interests in mind. It's not nefarious, it's not for our own personal self-interest and selfish gain, but we are there to be a safe place, right? And that's what trust is all about. I think also I've talked about in other videos, like, trust is something that's earned and proven over time through consistency. The way we can prove that we are trustworthy and that somebody, their heart can trust in us, is by being consistent over time, right? Showing them with our actions, with our words, that we have their best intentions at heart, that we're not there for, nefarious intent. So I think that's something that can be shown and proven over time. So that's very important. And then the second part of that verse, he will have no lack of gain, right? Let's talk about gain, right? Like, what does it mean to give someone, like, he has no lack of gain? And the way it's phrased makes it seem like the gain is coming from her. What this makes me think of is that relationships are really just value exchange, right? In any type of relationship that's not like a forced proximity relationship, like, oh no, guys, my iPad's about to die. Hold on. Let me plug her in. Okay, we're good. So yeah, relationships are, where did I put my, relationships are really about value exchange. Any relationship that's not a forced proximity relationship. So like family, there's some level of obligation there. Maybe even like jobs and work, there's some kind of obligation there. But at the core of it, relationships, voluntary relationships, are about the exchanging of value. It's about mutual benefit and gain, right? And so what this really says to me here is that he will have no lack of gain, meaning she's adding tangible value to his life, right? He's gaining, he is benefiting from her presence. It's not just that, what makes her an excellent wife versus just a wife is the fact that she is adding value to his life, that she is benefiting him, that she is making his life better, and there is no lack of gain. And that could, again, apply to any type of context. Like, what type of value are we adding to people's lives as friends, as sisters, as girlfriends, as wives? What type of value are we adding, right? So I think that's a good principle. Okay, let's move on. Verse 12. She does him good and not harm all the days of her life. Guys, this highlighter is trying me. Okay, she does him good and not harm. Like, this is kind of goes back to the value add, right? Like the gain. She's doing him good. That connects back to this gain of, like, she's doing good. She's adding value to his life, and not harm. I think the Bible also talks a lot to men about contentious wives. And it's like, when I'll put the verse on the screen, but it's like, it's better to live on the corner of a rooftop than a whole house with a contentious woman, or something like that. That's what this word harm makes me think of, right? Like, she is detracting value from his life. And when somebody is consistently harming you or decreasing value from your life, that's when you lose this value exchange, and ultimately you lose the relationship. Right? Because if relationships are built off of value exchange and one person isn't giving value, then that relationship is going to crumble. Or at least in healthy situations, it should, right? And I talked about that in previous video. If you want a little plug, go watch that one about the levels of relationships. But yeah, like, it's just important that we are adding value into people's lives, whether, it's in whatever context. And then another thing that we love over here is consistency. So all the days of her life. This goes back to what I was saying about trust, but it's built on consistency, right? All of the days of her life. It's something she's building on and continuing to do. This is a hard one. This is hard because, like, I think it can be easy in different seasons of life to stop focusing so much on the value that you're adding to other people's lives, but more of, like, what you can do for yourself. And it's a very tempting way to think. And I think it's a lot of the messaging that the world gives to us too, is that we should be thinking about ourselves. What can we get from others? But the Bible is consistent in telling us that our main priority is serving others, right? Others before ourselves. So I think that's something that we have to do consistently in various seasons of our life. And so that's what that all the days of her life signals to me. All right, let's keep going. 13. She seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like the ships of the merchant. She brings her food from afar. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. This is another good one. I think this is a beautiful illustration of what God is calling us as women to do. Like, we also have a responsibility and a calling to be working, to be seeking whatever the purpose he has for us is. And so I think it's a really good picture, and like it goes back to the maybe value that she's adding to his life. Like, she's also working. She's not just expecting him to do everything and to carry everything for the entire household, but no, she's here working. She's working with willing hands. That's a really big word, willing hands. So I think working with willing hands kind of communicates the attitude with which she's working. Like, she's not doing it out of obligation. She's not doing it with complaint. That's a big one. I complain a lot about stuff that I have to do, but she's doing it with willing hands. Like, she's coming at it with a positive mindset and a grateful mindset, and she's doing this willingly. And I think it takes some mental reframing to think about our situations as something we do willingly, like our work as something we do willingly, rather than making it an obligation or something we're, complaining about. When it's like, at the end of the day, God has given us the opportunity to work, and that's something we should try our best to find joy in. And so I think that's a beautiful picture too. She brings her food from afar. This is also good. It goes to that same point of like, she's out there doing her thing. She is focused. She is disciplined. She is consistent on what God has called her to do. She is focused on adding value to the lives of her family, whatever that may be, whether it's working with wool or flax, working with willing hands, bringing her food from afar. She is focused on adding value to the lives of those who she loves. All right, verse 15. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hand, she plants a vineyard. This clocks me every time. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household. This clocks me every time. She rises while it is yet night. This is such an interesting, thing to include. Like, why you have to clock me like that? I think we can take it as like, it doesn't have to literally mean you are waking up at nighttime, like before the sun's even up. But I think the bigger picture that we're getting while it is yet night is like, she is disciplined. Like, she's on her time management. She's disciplined because she recognizes that her life and every minute she spends is about more than just her. And I think, she comes at life and she approaches her everyday tasks with a sense of selflessness. She knows that she's providing food for her household and portions for her maidens, right? She's providing. That's a level of responsibility that she has. And so she knows that like every minute that she spends has to be disciplined, because she's not thinking about herself. She's thinking about the people who depend on her. And I think we can emulate that too, is like, as valuable women of God, we are working towards our purposes, not for ourselves, but for the sake of other people who we are called to serve. And we are disciplined about that, about our purpose. We don't, let other things distract us from our God-given purpose, from our work, from providing for those who depend on us. Like, we are completely locked in to what we need to do. And that makes us valuable women who are able to do what? Add value, once again, to our relationships. And so I think that's something we can practically like try to implement. Like, take account of your day. Take a little survey for yourself of how you typically spend most of your time. Is most of your time spent, idle or passively, or not really growing or adding any gain or value to your life or the lives of other people? And how can you kind of allocate more of your time to working towards your purpose, to doing what God has called you to do, to serving people, to loving people? How can you allocate more of your time to that kind of godly productivity? I don't think it's this idea that we just have to be busy for the sake of being busy, but it's purposeful work and it's selfless work. And I think that is something we can do to make us valuable. All right, verse 16. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hand, she plants a vineyard. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. So once again, we have more examples here of her working towards her purpose, working for the people who depend on her, and being valuable. She considers the field and buys it. She has some level of like financial responsibility, financial awareness. She is working, with the fruit of her hand, she plants a vineyard. She has a level of discernment to walk in her purpose and the things in her work, and like she makes decisions on that. Like, I think it's interesting that it distinguishes that. Oh, my roommate texted me. I should probably put this on D&D. Or she's considering a field and buying it. I think these are really good words here. Considers is like she's thinking about it. She's discerning whether it's a good decision to make. But she doesn't just sit and consider it the whole time. She doesn't just sit passively and think about it like, oh, it would be so nice if I had this field. Maybe one day I can have this field. And she's not actually making a decision. But here we see her considering a field, and right after she buys it, like ooh, that was ugly, buys it, she's making a decision directly based on her contemplation. So I think there's a level of discernment that we need to have, but also like conviction in our decision making. We can't just be passively waiting for things to happen to us. Like, we have to go use the discernment that God has given us and go do it. Like, get out there, do what you're passionate about, stop letting things stop you from doing that. The fruit of her hand, she plants a vineyard. I think this is also good because it's like, this to me reminds me of like making investments and things that are not short term. So like she uses the things that she uses the fruit that she's gained maybe from, her businesses or things like that, the things that she's selling, and she invests it into planting a vineyard for something that's going to give a future return. So we're not so focused on the present that we can't see the future, but there is value in like making decisions in the present that are going to impact the future. I love the idea of dressing herself with strength. I think that's yes, it can be. I've heard people say it's like talking about going to the gym and getting jacked and all that. Like, that's awesome. Trust, I love a good arm day. But I also think it's kind of about the way that she carries herself. She dresses herself with strength. This is the way she carries herself. This is the way she moves. She carries herself with a certain strength about her. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. She puts her hands to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle. She opens her hand to the poor and reaches out her hands to the needy. She's selling things. She's doing business. She's out here working for a purpose to provide selflessly for the people who she loves, for her household, right? Her lamp does not go out at night. That's another way of saying she's extremely disciplined with her time, with her organization, with her planning. And that's something we can also adopt and emulate, especially when you know that something is profitable. It gives you even more reason to, work hard and be disciplined and consistent with it. If her merchandise being profitable has a direct impact on her household, right? It said that she provides food for her household and her maidens. So her profitability is a direct impact to them. So she knows that this is bigger than her. So she may be losing some sleep, but she knows that, the cost of losing sleep is way less than the cost of not providing for the people that depend on her, right? So her lamp doesn't go out at night. She is consistently disciplined. She puts her hand to the distaff, holds the spindle, another way of saying she's working extremely hard. She's creating. She's using the gifts that God has given her to provide selflessly for other people. And here it also says not just her household, right? Before it talked about how she was providing for her household, but now we see here that she opens her hand to the poor, reaches her hands out to the needy. So not only is she providing for her immediate household and her maidens, but also the poor and the needy. So that's just the ultimate picture of selflessness. She's losing sleep here. She's rising while it's yet night. She's traveling. She's working. She's doing all these things. She's making decisions. Why? Because she has people that depend on her. And she recognizes that her work and her life is bigger than just her. And so she's following God's command to take care of people who can't take care of themselves. And she's loving. I think a true picture of love is sacrifice. So we can't say that we love somebody without giving up something for them, whether it's time, energy, resources, whatever it may be. So she claims to love her husband, but she is also adding value and gain to his life. She is giving him trust and consistency. She's adding to their household. She's providing for their household. She's providing for the poor. right? That's a form of love. She can't say she loves the poor without sacrificing for them. So she loses sleep. She sacrifices her sleep and her energy and her time to give to the poor. She's showing true love to these people by sacrificing for them. And so we, as women of God who want to be valuable women of God, when we say we love, we need to accompany that with sacrifice. What are we sacrificing? That also goes for us claiming to love God. We claim to love God. What are we sacrificing for him? Love requires sacrifice, and that's the image that we're getting here. And all of these things that she's doing, she's sacrificing her own time, energy, resources for the people that she loves. Okay, I just realized we got to verse 20, and that felt like 5 minutes to me. And I don't know how it's been like dang near 30 minutes. So we're gonna stop it there. We're gonna call it a day. And I just love this passage. We're gonna keep going on this in part 2, but essentially, yeah, like relationships are about a value exchange. So if we want to be this excellent wife, girlfriend, friend, whatever it may be, everybody's someone to someone, you know what I'm saying? So there's some, insert whatever relationship you want here, but if we want to be excellent at that, if we want to be more precious than jewels are, then we need to be adding value to people's lives. And we need to be sacrificing for them if we claim to love them. And I think that's really what Proverbs 31 is illustrating with everything that she's doing, with all of her discipline and consistency and productivity. She is doing it for the sake of being valuable to others and for the people that she claims to love. She really shows it. Anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I felt like it was super quick, but we'll see in editing if it was that quick. What do I need to say? If you like this video, please give it a like. It means a lot to me. If you have anything to say or any thoughts, like definitely comment and subscribe if you want more videos like this, and send it to somebody else who's a Proverbs 31 or a aspiring Proverbs 31 woman. We can all grow and learn together. If you have any questions or want to talk to me about anything, you can DM me on Instagram or TikTok at Holy Girl Hotline. And I'm thinking of starting some kind of like Discord server potentially for us so that we can be more of a community. I don't want to just talk to you guys, but I want you guys to be able to talk to me, interact with me, but also talk to each other. Like, that's really what I want this to be, as a community of women who are not seeking value and approval in the world's eyes, but in our Heavenly Father's eyes. And so that's what I really want for us. So let me know if you guys think that would be something fun for us to do, and I can work on putting that together. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.